Good evening, everybody! Welcome to the penultimate round of our 1986 F1 Series, coming to you from Mexico City in Mexico. I am Jason White. I will be your play-by-play announcer for this evening, working solo on this occasion. I'll do my best to catch as much action on the track as I can as possible, so it's hard when it's just one person, but I will do my very, very best. Right now, let's go over the qualifying results for the top 10 as time expired. So, familiar name at the top, Jules Bouchard takes the pole with a time of 1 minute 15.055. In second, Ray Radal, just about 4/10 of a second back is Ray Radal, so he's very close to Jules' time. Third is Richard Coxon. Fourth, Gabriel Del Piccolo. Fifth, Grant Radal. Sixth, John Team. Seventh, Anders Nilsson. Eighth, David Saber. Ninth, Nicholas Kirsten. And rounding out the top 10, Giovanni Centorami. That's your top 10 for qualifying heading into today's race. So here we are at yet another very interesting compromise circuit. And when I say compromise, I say that because you have an extremely long front straight that demands maximum terminal velocity in the car if you don't want to get overhauled. So, in order to do that, you trim out the car aerodynamically as much as you can. The trade-off, of course, is that there's this big serpentine section of the track where the car is going to feel very loose. So that's where the compromise is. You want to get that speed in the straight, but you also want to be able to control the car in the twisty bits. So we'll see how people have set up their cars. If you set up your car loose in order to do well on that long straight and the subsequent small one, which is also relatively quick, it's going to be a problem as far as mental fatigue. If you get tired mentally during the end of the race, you can very easily make a mistake in that section. So we'll have to keep a close eye on everybody as we end the race or get close to the end, because we might see some uncharacteristic errors. And we're going to find that out in short order. We've talked a lot over the course of the season about the BT55 and how good it is in high-speed situations. And it will certainly be at home on this long straightaway in the subsequent one, but how will it do in the twisty section? We'll find out. That's going to be interesting. So, let's take a look at the driver's points coming into today's race. The Drivers' Championship has been decided, and Jules Bouchard is the champion. He captured that at the last race mathematically. The race is now most definitely for second place, with only 1 point gaps between second and fifth on down the line. Ray Radal has 37 points, Richard Coxon is 36, Juha Boss 35, and David Saber 34. So whoever's going to finish in second place, I don't know. We got two races to shake it out and see what happens, but that's going to be exciting. As far as the Constructors' Championship goes, it's a much more wide open affair at the top. John Player Special Team Lotus and Marlboro McLaren International are tied with 71 points apiece. And Scuderia Ferrari is waiting in the wings there with 64 points. So we'll keep a close eye on these teams and see what happens to them today. Only 2 rounds to go, so if Ferrari wants to make a bid for the Constructors' Championship, they'll need to perform well and also have Lotus and McLaren have problems, which is an unlikely scenario, but that's kind of where we stand with the Constructors' Championship. So let's go out on the track right now and see if we can find somebody who's starting a lap. Go back a little bit here. Here's, I believe, Gabriel Del Piccolo. He can take us around. No, it's Grant Radal. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's go around now for a lap of Mexico City. This is the Hermanos Rodriguez circuit. So this is the long straight. There's the start-finish line. Oh, God. Of course, he's going to slow down now. Okay, so we got to find somebody else. Okay, here comes Moises Pereira starting a lap. And you saw the front straightaway here on the map is very long, and it is incredibly long here. I think it's probably the longest straightaway that these cars see during the year. And then you have to downshift for this very, very tight right-hand bend here, followed immediately by a left-hand bend. This is going to put the drivers reaction time to test. Now you accelerate up this very short straightaway to another series of left and right hand bends that'll send you back down into the serpentine section. Turning left here quickly, then right. There's even a little bit of a banking here. And now accelerating up to one more right-hander, and that will take us back onto the circuit where we get into this really long serpentine twisty bit that seems to never end. You almost have to hold the car in a constant state of high rev acceleration around here and try not to get it to bog down. But you see there are curves on both sides, and really it's going to be a one groove racetrack through here. We probably won't see any overtakes here unless somebody makes a big mistake and someone capitalizes on it. But this left-hander right here takes you back onto the back straight, I guess is what we would refer to. And now watch, coming through this final turn here, we don't experience lateral G's in sim racing, but if we did, I'm sure it would be something like 4 or 5 lateral G's coming through here. And that brings Moises back onto the front straight, and that is one lap of Hermanos Rodriguez Autodromo. And we're going to go for one more lap here. Oh, maybe not. Moises is on the grass. All right, but he gets back on. Here comes the first turn again. You can see there's a bit of a runoff there, but it's going to be very tricky. Harem-scarum time, as Derek Daly loves to say, when they get down to that first turn. A lot of cars funneling into a tight space. There goes Moises accelerating for the top section of the course. Heads back to the left. Missed the apex slightly there, but now he turns in to the right. He looks like he got a twitchy setup. Like I said, I'm sure a lot of people have set up their cars to be very, very trimmed out aerodynamically so they can get maximum speed on that straight. We talked earlier about maybe the Brabhams won't be too at home here on this twisty section. Then it occurred to me, since the BMW cars have so much speed, maybe they can afford to dial in a bit more wing and therefore then be better on this circuit. We'll see. Oops, there's Mark Whitman off on the right. So Moises just trying to balance the car properly through these left and rights. Things getting a bit loose on him again, and now he accelerates up to the very high G, right hand, semicircular bend. Drives it very deep on that turn. And whoa! No! Oh, he spun out. So there you go. You know, it's easy to lose it there, even with that banking helping you out. It's a concern. So, in any case, that was 2 laps. Thanks to Moises Pereira for showing us around the circuit. Oh, there's a tire in the road. It's gone now. Okay. So, on another subject, let's talk about ISO racing in 2024. Believe it or not, we are nearing the end of this calendar year, and a new season is going to be starting in 2024. It's already been announced. This will be officially the 7th ISO season, and lots of people are very excited that we're going to be running the 1991 F1 series in 2024. Obviously, this will be our marquee series, and we'll cover the full 16-race schedule here on our YouTube channel, likely with yours truly doing the play-by-play. The 1991 F1 mods physics and graphics have both been updated by the ISO factory team to deliver an even better experience. So it's not just the same series being rerun again. There's going to be some differences. So for those of you who want to take part, that will spice up things a lot. We also have the 1996 British touring cars. The Tin Tops are back. A great counterpoint, obviously, to an open-wheel series. We have several ISO members who are serious about touring cars. They're aficionados. They really, really enjoy their touring car racing, and they know how to make them go fast. So I would expect that we're going to have a lot of participation there, and it'll be full tilt the whole way through. And, of course, we'll have the Lucas Vidra Trophy featuring our annual Indianapolis 500-mile race and many other interesting events. Committing to a full season isn't required with the Lucas Vidra Trophy, obviously. And if that's the case, you also have to consider the fact that if you don't have enough time to take part in the whole series, you can just take part in 1 or 2 Lucas Vidra races here and there. So those of you who have a hard time committing to a season, it's good. So we're looking forward to seeing everybody, all our familiar faces back in the grid next year, and some new faces, I'm sure. And we're going to try to keep you abreast of all the action via our YouTube channel. So we're grateful for the reaction. We're also very grateful for the donations that have come in recently. People have been very helpful. As you all know, this is a not-for-profit league. We are a .org. We are doing this. We're like PBS in a way. We don't charge anything to race. We don't demand fees from people to race here, but we do request that you help out with donations, because the server for this series is not an inexpensive item. It costs about $1,000, I believe, US. So we accept donations throughout the year, and we did meet the goal that we have, I believe, to renew the server, and we thank everybody for their support. It's what keeps this going. Without that financial support, ISO would not exist. So we thank you very much for your support. It's fantastic, and this is a really great community. I don't think we talk about it enough, but the offline when we're talking and chatting as groups, on the Discord server or just in the forum, this is a very affable community. There's very little strife that happens, and even if it does, then things usually calm down pretty fast, and we get back to being gentlemen, or gentlewomen, as it were. But in any case, that's what's coming up in 2024 for ISO. And again, we thank our sponsors very, very much for their help in getting this server renewed and making the racing we do here possible. Coming up next week is the penultimate round of our 1984 World Endurance Championship, and that's at the ultra-fast Silverstone circuit. I'm looking forward to that one because I enjoy the old Silverstone layout. This should be an excellent race. Of course, it won't be broadcast. Maybe Miller will carry it on his YouTube station from his cockpit. I don't know. But for those of you who are on the sidelines and like these cars and like the old Silverstone layout, I would encourage you to keep your eyes peeled for openings during the coming week in the series, because it tends to, you're not going to see, I don't think, a full 26-car grid this evening, for example. Races towards the end of the year tend to be a little bit lighter with holiday events going on, so keep your eyes open. There might be a place to slot in there. For this series in particular, our last race, I mentioned that there's this race, I think I did, and this race to go. The final round, round 16 of 16, will take place on Sunday, December 10th. It's the Foster's Australian Grand Prix from the beautiful Adelaide Street Circuit, a classic that everybody enjoys. That's Sunday, December 10th. Race will start at 2000 CET. We will be on the air likely at 1945 CET. So, trivia question for you to ponder during the race while things unfold. Who was the last F1 driver to win the Mexican Grand Prix on the 1986-92 Hermanos Rodriguez layout, the layout we have right now? Is it A, Ayrton Senna, B, Ricardo Patrese, or is it C, Nigel Mansell? We'll have the answer later on in the broadcast. So let's see here. Bring up the timing and scoring. We have 5 minutes to go here. People are practicing in the full fuel configuration around this circuit. I'm sure that is slightly different, or probably substantially different, from what they experience when they're running at speed in qualifying. Obviously, you're not going to run a full tank in qualifying. Let's see how Giovanni Centorami is doing here. He qualified 10th for this race, and he manages to squeeze way more out of his car than a lot of other people do. He definitely is talented at extracting speed from marginal vehicles. The Tyrrell has got the Renault engine, but truth be told, it's not the best chassis on the circuit. So here he comes now down that front straightaway. Let's see how he handles the rest of the circuit here. Getting some good speed. Heads into the first turn. There's Dante Barbera. Dante is going to be starting their first ISO race today, so we have one debut. Giovanni handled that pretty well. Now he's heading up to the top part of the circuit where there's a left and right here, and then you get oh my goodness, Barbera runs off onto the oh man, that must have been difficult to judge. Which way do I go? Okay, now Giovanni is heading back down into the serpentine section of the track. Let's see how he does. Back and forth. It must be really hard to hold a speed through here, because you're basically just in one gear the whole time, just going back and forth through here, just trying to maintain momentum. Now he turns off of here. Now he can accelerate. He uses a bit of the curb there. Into the last turn here, a yellow flag being shown. Somebody must have gone off. Oh, look at this. Here's three cars running together. We might get some close quarters action in the, definitely in the serpentine section. I doubt you're going to, and again, I doubt we're going to see many overtakes there. The best place for overtakes are going to be at the end of this long straight and at the end of the secondary straight, I would think. Those are the best places that you can overtake on your own. The rest of the time, you're going to have to be taking advantage of other people's problems, I believe. In the rest of the circuit. But this should be a fun race. The championship is already decided, so that doesn't figure into any of this. The Constructors' Championship, though, is still open, but for these drivers, it's more about bragging rights today than anything else, because the championship's over, so we can just relax and not think about the numbers of that and just watch some good racing, which I think we're going to see today. Oh, and Dave Miller confirms via the YouTube chat that there will be a live stream for Silverstone. Dave, that's great. Thanks very much for doing that. We appreciate it. I've already been driving the Silverstone circuit myself, and I gotta say that this is a new build of Silverstone that has been undertaken by Martin Lacina and other people in the factory, and I have to say they've done a fabulous job. The track looks great. It's period correct, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Poor Oscar team having a hard time finding his way around the cars in front of him here. In any case, it has been a great ISO season. We have 2 more races for this one to run, and then 2 more races actually for World Endurance Championship, which is going to be, I think, the last race for that after Silverstone is the Nürburgring. Not the big one, the small one that they built in 85. Or 84, I think it was, yeah. Okay, in any case. So predictions for this race. My guess is that Bouchard's going to want to go out with a bang, but I have my eye on the McLaren duo of Ray Radal and David Saber. Ray Radal jumped way up the grid towards the end. That second place start that he has, he earned very towards the end of the qualifying session. He had put up a really good fast lap, looked really confident. I wouldn't be surprised if Ray gets another victory under his belt today here in Mexico. And maybe Dave will have some good luck too. He started the year with a win. I wouldn't be surprised if he got it. Oh, shoot. He's a bit loose there coming out of the one of the turns in the backside serpentine bit. But it'll be interesting to see if McLaren can do well here. I think the car is probably uniquely suited to this track. It's a well-balanced car, and there's a lot of curves that need that kind of balance to get the most out of them. So my personal pick for this race is one of the McLarens, and I'm just going to go ahead and say Ray Radal because he looked so good in qualifying. So that's my pick. The rest of you can make your own picks. But 41 seconds on the clock now, so we'll be going racing very shortly here. Just to remind everybody, the race is for 68 laps, which is about 300.628 kilometers, and the overall circuit length is 4.421 kilometers. The Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. All right, so the clock about to run out here, and then we will quickly switch over to the race session. Hopefully everybody will switch over with no problem, and then we'll be ready for the second to last race of this 1986 F1 season, which has been a lot of fun for me to cover, a lot of fun to watch, and I think it's been a lot of fun for the drivers, and hopefully you've enjoyed watching at home. so the clock's now at 0. And we wait for the drivers to make their way onto the grid. Juha has input the grid, so Jules is on top. That's another thing. It's easy to forget the admin procedures that happen here, but Juha is very good about, posting results and points and making sure that everybody starts in the correct spot on the grid. So we thank him for that. I mean, it's hard to do that and also pay attention to your own race at the same time. It's not easy. So Juha does a lot of behind-the-scenes organizational work to make sure that everything goes the way it's supposed to. All right, so moving into the race session now. We're watching Jules Bouchard. He's going to wait as late as he can to get on the grid here. He wants to save every drop of fuel. We'll bring up some car updates as we go, but Coxon's info for this race: any compound can do the full distance except mediums and hards. Probably one pit stop in this race, although historically Berger won with a no pit stop situation, but it should be tough to do that. Fuel can be quite tough due to the high amount of throttle, so some lift and coast will be needed. Brakes are at a low work rate, so that's where we are with just general expectations. We'll go through car updates as we have time to do so. But here we go on the recon lap on the pole. The champion for this series, Jules Bouchard, in the John Player Special Team Lotus. In second, very quick, Ray Radal, only a little less than 0.4 of a second behind Jules' time for Marlboro McLaren International. Third, Richard Coxon, driving for Ken & Williams Honda team. Fourth, Gabriel Del Piccolo in the first of the Brabhams, and the second Brabham right behind him, Grant Radal in fifth. In sixth, John Team, Equipe Ligier. Seventh, Anders Nilsson, Benetton Formula. Eighth, David Saber, Marlboro McLaren International. Ninth, Nicholas Kirsten, driving the other Williams today. I believe this is a one-off drive. 10th, Giovanni Centorami, Data General Team Tyrrell. 11th, Oscar Team, Equipe Ligier. 12th, Juha Boss, Scuderia Ferrari. 13th, Moises Pereira, Data General Team Tyrrell. 14th, Bruno Chacon, West Zach Speed Racing. 15th, Alan Santo, Team Haas USA. 16th, Mikael Drexler, Team Haas USA. 17th, Mark Whitman, driving the Ocella Squadra course, entry number 22. 18th is Matt Sibignani, Barclay Arrows BMW. 19th, Owen Potter, in a one-off drive, I believe, for Benetton Formula. 20th, Gilles West Zach Speed Racing. 21st, Dante Barbera, in a debut here at ISO, driving the other Ocella. It's rare that we see both Ocellas on the grid at the same time. 22nd is Bruno Chacon, Barclay Arrows BMW. 23rd, Luciano Rocha, John Player Special Team Lotus. And rounding out the field, I believe, is Francois Remin for Team Minardi, the only Minardi in the field. That is your grid, and here we are in the back straightaway, and the drivers are already scrubbing in their Goodyears, trying to get as much heat in them as possible. Jules is slowing down, trying to bring everybody down at a decent pace. See all the rubber and all the marks on the outside there that you don't want to get into. Jules is slowed right down. He wants to make sure that he gives this group as little time to wait as possible, because some of these engines, particularly the BMWs, are prone to overheating. Bouchard has arrived at his grid spot, and everybody else coming in here. Looking forward to this penultimate race. 1986 F1 Series here at ISO. Final cars are getting in position at the back, so we'll be going to green very shortly. The green light. And there's starter's orders, so stand by now for the start of the Mexican Grand Prix. And the race is underway. Good getaway by Bouchard, but look at Coxon. Rocket through in the middle. Richard Coxon takes the lead right off of the line. Now, Bouchard is out accelerating him now as they head to the first turn. It looks like Bouchard has reclaimed first place. Look at the people darting behind them, but Bouchard heads into turn one in the lead with Coxon in second. Brilliant start by Coxon. It looked as if he was going to lead all the way down there, but he didn't. Here's they come through the top of the section of the track. Everybody looks like they're doing all right, no problems. Somebody might have hopped over a wheel there, but in any case, Bouchard is in the lead. Coxon in second. Ray Riddall is third. Gabriel Del Piccolo fourth. Anders Nilsson fifth. John Team is in sixth. David Saber is in seventh. Grant Riddall is in eighth. Here they come through the twisty bits. Oscar Team ninth, and Giovanni Centorami is in 10th. It looks like everybody got away without any trouble. No collisions happened, which is good. Everybody making their way through the serpentine bit as best they can. Looks like everybody is in good trim as well. Coming off of the last turn is Jules Bouchard to lead lap number 1. There he is. Crossing the line. Coxon is second. Ray Riddall is in third. Gabriel Del Piccolo fourth. Nilsson fifth. Saber sixth. And look at this. There's a really good battle going on there between the 7th and 8th place cars. Look at all these cars coming through. We have to do our best to keep track of all of these battles going on. Jules maintains his lead. Coxon staying right with him there, and we've got Ray immediately behind Coxon. This is the view from Coxon's car looking forward to Bouchard. This is interesting because I don't really think we've had a straight-up fight between Bouchard and Coxon in this series so far. And I'm thinking about since the time that Coxon switched over to the Cannon Williams Honda team. And now there's a chance for them to go head-to-head here, which should be very interesting. Coxon's been very, very quick in this car. He missed one of the races because of personal stuff he had to do, but now he's back and clearly in very good form. He just rocketed off that line, and it was just the out acceleration of the Renault that managed to secure that spot for Bouchard. Here they headed into the long right-hander. Back onto the main straight now. And Ray Riddall doesn't seem to be making much of an impression. He's just hanging back there for now. Fourth is Del Piccolo, so he's had a good start. Anders is fifth. Saber is sixth. Grant Riddall in 7th place. Don't see any action here except back here where Centorami is trying to get around Nicholas Kirsten. Looking down the inside now, but doesn't seem to have the space to do it. Kirsten in a one-off drive, I believe, for the Williams team. There you can see Centorami in 10th place, wanting to advance, so he dropped his position. He was the 10th before, now he's 11th. We'll see if Centorami can close up here in this section. Because again, I think certain people might be sitting ducks on the long straight if they've set their car up to be better in this section. But we'll see what happens. Kirsten seems to hang on well. This is a very difficult car to drive, this Williams, as far as I've been told by people who drive it. It just, the power just cracks on. There's very little lag in the power, so it can be a very violent car to drive. And look at this. Kirsten goes around Oscar Team and picks up 9th place as they head through the semicircle. So Kirsten up to 9th and Oscar Team down to 10th. And here comes David Saber, and he is going up to 5th. He passes Anders Nilsson at the end of the straight. That takes David Saber up to 5th place and sends Nilsson down to 6th. And now Nilsson's got to worry about Grant Riddall right behind him, so he's in a Riddall sandwich at the moment. Looking back from David Saber's car at Anders Nilsson, stuck between the two Ridalls. I think this is and this is just me speculating, but I'm thinking that this is a race that's going to come to the McLarens if people have issues at the front. We'll see what happens. And you can see that David's car is acting a little bit twitchy here and there, trying to get through this section, so he's probably got it trimmed out as much as he can. All right, now onto the back straightaway. And it looks as if, no, Grant's not quite close enough yet to make a move. Maybe at the end of the next straight. But Grant has a very good arc going through that corner, and now we'll see if he tries to, this is BMW versus BMW. Yeah, look at him, he's definitely got a roll here. He's gonna pull out, try to pass. There he goes, right by. So Anders drops to 7th place, Grant Riddall goes up to 6th place. So I'm thinking that was a little bit of the boost that got him that spot. But we'll see what happens here as they head up to the second of 2 straightaways. Grant Riddall pulling away a little bit. Now, we've talked about it a lot, and it bears repeating that these BMW engines are very, very sensitive. And if you push them too hard, too early, you may end up like 10 laps or 15 laps before the end with a barbecue. Nobody wants to see that. But so far it looks like Grant has got the better end of the BMW bargain right now. His teammate, Gabriel Del Piccolo, is in a solid 4th place. Ray Riddall in 3rd, hanging right in there with the top 2 drivers, Coxon and Bouchard. So they're not losing much time here to the leader. That's an interesting thing. Jules is not just simply sprinting away. I think he's got good competition here between Coxon and Ray Riddall. We'll see how this pans out over the first few laps. Indeed, there have been drivers in the past that have tried. Oh, and Mikael Drexler is out of the race. Didn't notice that, but that's our first retirement. And look at Coxon here. He's right in the wake and pulls out just to have a look. I think he's just going to say, hey, you, I'm here. Right behind you, and I can turn up the boost and go by any time I want. That's probably what Coxon's saying to him. Here they go, the cars around the corner. Del Piccolo in 4th. Sabre 5th. Grant Riddall in 6th. Nilsson in 7th place. Then we got a bit of a gap back to Nicholas Kirsten in the Williams right there. Then there's John Team. Oscar in 10th place. That rounds out the top 10. Centurami 11th. We got a little bit further back here to Owen Potter, who is driving the other Benetton, and then we had one of the Haas entries there. So if you're Coxon, you're probably just studying your opponent in front of you here, trying to find the right spot to get by. He really clearly wants to get by. You got to have a good final turn here. You can't lose any time here. You want to get a good launch off of this corner and now down the straightaway. So Coxon using every bit of the road and then some. And he's clearly trying to, and you see the line that Bouchard's taken, a defensive line, but there goes Coxon into the lead. Sprints by Bouchard. Bouchard looks like he was going to counterattack, but he does not. Your new leader is Richard Coxon in red 5. Those are the top 3. Here comes Del Piccolo 4th. Sabre 5th. Looks like he's closing on Del Piccolo. Then Grant Riddall. Anders Nilsson. Next should be Nicholas Kirsten, and we'll see if he's getting harried by the team brothers. No, not really. Kirsten actually pulling out a little bit of a gap. There's John. And then after that comes Oscar. So Coxon has taken the lead now, and actually we've got some cars too. Juha Boss actually is going to be lapped here. He must have had some kind of difficulty at some point because he's a lap down already. So this is actually going to put him 2 laps down. Owen Potter is also a lap down. So lap cars being encountered far earlier than we expected here in the Mexican Grand Prix. Going into the final turn here, I'm sure that Juha's not going to make a big deal out of this. He gets out of the way, being the good sport that he is. And it looks like Coxon's already pulled out enough of a distance that Juha just decides to duck back into the slipstream before they even get to the turn. So Coxon is now pulling out a good distance here. He's almost a full second ahead of second place. Now he is a full second ahead. Looking back there, Bouchard manages now to get around Juha, and so does Ray. Up here, he's got 2 cars that he has to overtake. That's Dante Barbera making their ISO debut. And you see up there also is Chacon and Francois Remen. So those are the cars that he has to handle up. Oh, gets a bit bottlenecked here by Dante, but doesn't cost him too much time. Now heading through the last turn here before you get onto the back straight. Then out to give him a good launch. He gets by Chacon with ease. Now he has to find a way by Remen, the only minority in the field. Is he going to go around the outside? Probably not the best of ideas. No. And actually, oh, Bouchard gets back into the lead. Brilliant. He saw that Coxon was boxed in by Remen and took advantage of the situation. Brilliant tactical move by Jules Bouchard. Fantastic. Watch, here it comes. Coxon's blocked by Remen. He's boxed in. And look at Bouchard. He goes right around the outside, takes the lead. That is great racing. That is smart racing. Wow. And that surprised Coxon, I'm sure, so much so. Now he's under attack from Radal, who's going to go up into second place. And indeed, Radal has gone to second. Coxon all the way down to third. That was an incredible tactical move on the part of Jules Bouchard. He saw what was happening. He saw that Coxon is going to get bottled up by Remen. Not Remen's fault. It's just a situation where you just get into traffic and it's at an awkward time. But he saw that, and I'm sure he just had this big sly grin in his face as he sailed by on the outside. That was incredible. Really good heads-up driving by your new leader, or back to being leader, Jules Bouchard. And Ray Vidal is back into second place now because he started second. And Coxon's lost a decent amount of time here, so he's going to have to be careful about how he works his way back up here. He doesn't want to tax the motor too early. But this is a very, very crispy and powerful Honda motor that Coxon has. He showed how powerful it was off the line at the start of the race. Now he's got some work to do to gain back what he lost there on that semicircle final turn. Heading into the first turn, it looks like Ray is closing in on our leader. Yeah, he is. He's actually very close to him here. He might have a chance to get by. I think Bouchard might have gotten bottled up by traffic there himself a little bit. Okay, so Bouchard's got to find a way by Mark Whitman now. So Ray's paying very close attention here. Maybe he can catch him in an awkward moment here and slip by. Not all that different from what Jules just did to Coxon. But Coxon's the kind of a driver who's not going to let that go. He's going to be like, all right, I saw that. I know what you're doing. I'm going to be ready for you next time. Now here goes. Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. There's some contact. Oh, no. Ray Vidal has run into the back of the Osella and has lost a great deal of time and his front wing. This is disastrous for Ray Vidal. And he's going to run off the edge of the course because he has no downforce. He's lost the front wheel. Ray Vidal is out of the race. That is really unfortunate. Unbelievable. What happened was Ray, there was contact between Bouchard and Whitman. Probably not enough to do much damage, but it slowed Whitman enough that Ray ran right into the back of him. Couldn't deal with the closure rate. Now here Ray has no front wing. He's got no downforce. He turns in, the car doesn't want to turn, and boom, into the tire barrier, loses the left front. He's out of the race. That is really too bad because Ray had such a spectacular qualifying session. It's really, really unfortunate. Sorry to see that. Anyway, back at the front, we still have Jules in first place, and the question would be, did any damage occur there? My guess would be no. It was just very light contact between him and Mark Whitman. But we'll have to keep an eye on him to make sure he's all right. In second is Coxon. And he inherits that because of Ray being out of the race. In third now is Ray Vidal's teammate, David Sabers. So the McLarens still have one car left in the race. and they still have a chance to make a big impression here. So Coxon right now is about 2.6 seconds behind Bouchard. So we'll keep an eye on that battle. The other car's strung out for a bit. Here is Kirsten lapping Gilles Taux. John Team running by himself. And here's Oscar trying to handle up Francois Redmond, who lets him by on the outside. Well done. Centurami is actually up to 10th now. I think that's because of the retirement of Ray Riddall. Everybody down there advances one place. Alan Santo having a good race so far in 11th place, driving for Team Haas. And Rocha actually, see, this has happened several times this year. Rocha starts near the back of the grid and just picks off one car after another. Just that quickly, he's like dispensed with about half the field. So very good driving by Luciano in the second Lotus. 13th is Bruno Paggiola, who is letting the lead lap cars by. 14th is Sibignani. 15th, Moises Pereira. 16th, Gilles Taux. 17th, Bruno Chacon. 18th is Remen. 19th, Barbera. And Owen Potter is 20th, and I believe the final car, oh no, there's one more. Juha Boss is in 22nd, will eventually be 21st once he passes where the incident happened with, probably at the end of this end of the straight here, when he passes where the incident happened with Ray Riddall. We'll see him here go up to 21st place at about this point. Yes, there he goes. He is now 21st. And Whitman is in the pits. Apparently that contact did some damage to the car. So maybe it wasn't as innocent as we thought. Maybe there's something going on there, but Whitman's losing all kinds of time. He's in 23rd now. He says that he lost it on the YouTube thing. We must not have seen it actually happen, but he's going to be in the pits for a while. So the gap is increasing between Coxon and Bouchard. Actually, no, it's not. It's down to 0.7 of a second now. I was looking at the wrong number figure there. So we could see another challenge for the lead here in a few seconds, or a few minutes maybe. But Coxon is right there with him, and realizing his good fortune that the second place car is now out of the picture. And David Saber has got a ways to go before he's going to catch up to this leading duo. So I'm thinking Coxon's trying to get his car in a position where he can make a, he's kind of, you can see he's turning up the boost here, at least I think he is. Now going into this semicircle, he gets it once, a really good exit off of here, drives a very tight line, unlimbers the car. He's probably too far back at this point. But you can see Bouchard taking a defensive line down the straightaway here. Oh, look at this. Here comes Coxon. Is he going to get him under braking? No, not enough room. But showing his hand there, making sure that Bouchard knows that he's there. And it's very hard to keep your focus on what's going on in front of you when you're being harried like this by someone at the back of your car. We see one of the Brabhams coming into view back there, so things are starting to spread out a little bit. And I think the interesting thing about what we saw happen with Bouchard and Coxon earlier is traffic is going to play way more of a role than maybe I realized, or a lot of them realized, getting bottled up behind somebody at a very inopportune time. So we'll see if that happens again. But look at this now. Coxon's right with Bouchard, handling very well through this series of corners. Now into the back straight. Well, actually, one or two more corners, then he's on the back straight. Here he comes. He looks about the same distance as before, but so much of it depends on how you do in this corner right here. This is the last corner, very banked, very fast, lots of lateral G, although we never experienced it. And Coxon now about the same place as before. Maybe he can make it work this time. We'll see. He's got a roll. Snaps out from behind. Is he going to get it done? Looks like he will. Yes, Richard Coxon back into the lead. Bouchard has to concede the line. So now Coxon back in the lead in his Williams. Excellent racing from these two. Saber closing in third place. He's taking advantage of it because of that fight going on that plays right into his hands. Del Piccolo is in fourth place. Fifth is Grant. Sixth is Nilsson. Looks like Nilsson's closing in. Juha there is a lap down, or 2 laps down. So now the question is, can Coxon prevent what happened before from happening again? My guess is he will. He's a sly driver, and he learns from situations. The more that happens in the race, the more he learns about people around him, and he reacts in a different way if he needs to make adjustments. Into the semicircle again, and we'll see if Jules tries to counterattack here. They got one car up there that they have to overtake eventually. So the gap is about 1.3 seconds now as they head into the first series of turns. It's Luciano Rocha. So the second Lotus up ahead, I doubt Luciano will make too big of a deal out of this. Yeah, he lets Coxon through, and hopefully he realizes his teammate is right there too. Yes, he does. He makes excellent room for him. So, oh my goodness, Bouchard has a bit of an awkward moment there on the curb, but manages to gather it back up. He actually might have lost some time there. Oh no, look, right behind him is David Saber. And I said that this is going to be a race that the McLarens might find to their liking. And here he is, closing in on Jules Bouchard, series champion. David's been in good form in this car all year long. Of course, he won the opening race of the year, the Brazilian Grand Prix. And ever since then, he's had some very good, third, fourth, fifth place finishes throughout. So we'll see what he can do here with Bouchard heading through this semicircle. There's a yellow flag here for some reason. Somebody in the pits, it looks like. And he is closing. You can see the visual closure on the screen. There he is. He is closing in. I don't think he's going to overtake him here, but he's definitely, well, he's having a look. Oh, wait. Makes a liar out of me. There goes Saber. But, oh, looked like Jules is going to counterattack, but I think he almost ran into the back of Saber. But Saber is now up into second place ahead of Bouchard. Rocha is a lap down. Then here comes Del Piccolo. Looks like Del Piccolo might have... there's Grant and Anders. We got to keep an eye on that battle for fifth because that looks like it could heat up in a minute. So Saber is in second place now. And we'll see if he can close the gap. Well, he's got Bouchard right behind him here. I don't think Bouchard's ready to let this go. Remen right in front of him here. So if he can time this right, he might be able to get by. Nope. He gets bottled up just like David does. So Remen has got to let them by at some point here. Oh my goodness, that was very dangerous. I don't think Remen quite knows that they're there. Or maybe it just be well, he lets them both by now on the outside, so it's no longer a problem. Bouchard has got a full head of steam here. He wants to get back that second place. Through the semicircle. We haven't even talked about pit stops yet. That'll be coming up at some point here. All right, now here is Jules going to counterattack. They're pulling about the same speed down the straight, so it looks like he might not be able to do it. He'd have to come from very far back. Kamikaze, and I don't think he wants to do that. Yellow flag in this area. It looks like a Ligier in this section. And no, it's actually it's Mark Whitman. It's one of the Ocellas, and Mark is having a really hard time. That grass looks really slippery. Trying to get back on the circuit. Finally he does, and it doesn't look like he's lost any parts or pieces, so he should be okay. Bouchard staying right with David Saber. This is excellent stuff. Now, of course, if these two start fighting each other and pass back and forth, that's just going to play right into the hands of Coxon. He's already 6 seconds in front of this battle, in fact, so this is playing right into his hands. Now, it'll be interesting to see what happens when the pit stops come along, who stops, and if anybody decides not to stop at all. But look at this, Saber bottled up behind, I think that's Chacon. Yes, and look, it happens again! Saber loses a position to Jules, and Jules goes by. It's exact same situation. Replay. Watch this from Bouchard's point of view. Saber is trying to put a lap on Chacon. They come into the corner here. He thinks he's going to go to the inside. Bruno keeps on his line, and look at that. Bouchard takes the opportunity and sails right by because of the balked David Saber. Incredible. Very, very tactical driving. So we're seeing a lot of really ingenious passes here so far in the Mexican Grand Prix. Really interesting. But here's Ray. I don't think he's going to... I'm sorry, David Saber. Ray is out of the race. But if you look back there, there's also Gabriel Del Piccolo who's coming forward here. But this battle is not over yet. Saber definitely wants to get that back. And he did. Wait a minute. Okay, so he did get it back. Now I got to go back and see how this happened. It's on the secondary straight. Here's the replay. Saber takes the line away and takes the position back from Bouchard. So 2 overtakes really in succession for these two. And Bouchard wants to get that back. This is an excellent battle between these two. Incidentally, engine race power for round 15 has increased from McLaren Porsche tag. It went from 893 bhp to 907. So that could be why they're particularly quick at this track. I mean, it can't hurt. But at the same time, the engine qualifying power went up for Lotus Renault. It went up to 1158 bhp. That's not helping them here, but I'm sure it's part of what helped Bouchard to be in the front row. Okay, Bouchard's hanging back here a little bit, maybe taking a slight break from this battle because he realizes the more they battle, the more they're going to lose in chasing the leader, Richard Coxon. Other thing about the changes, for McLaren in Mexico, the engine had a bigger turbo, as well as water spray for the intercoolers, which is nice. Lotus, new qualifying engine was available. That's the only change that they had. So the race package you see is the same one from the previous race. Here's Saber slicing his way through traffic. He managed to get around that Zach speed quite easily. So already we've seen 2 very consequential passes that happened simply because somebody was caught behind traffic in this race. So really, really interesting stuff, and it's unique to this Mexican circuit. Yes, Barry Linda, some good racing going. Very, very true. Let's go a little further back in the field and see if there's anything going on. Well, pretty much spread out back here. Okay, well, here's one somewhat, well, not really. No, it's not. It's pretty far back. Uh-oh! Sibignani is going backwards into the gravel trap. Not sure what happened there. Now he's in big trouble. Now he's stuck in the kitty litter, and he's going to have a hard time getting out. Let's see a replay of what happened here. Coming down into the... oh, my goodness. Well, that's just... Gilles Taux going up the inside, but wasn't all the way alongside. Matthew maintains his normal line and gets punted off the track. So I'll let the viewers be the judge of what happened there, as I want to remain impartial. But poor Sibignani is having... well, now he's back on the track. Good, but yeah, a lot of difficulty, I'm sure. And he lost a lot of positions for sure in that situation. Actually, now he's in contest with his own teammate, but he has to let Juha by. Looking ahead, you can see Chacon there, so that is... oh, Juha, that was a pass for position, actually. Juha is in 17th. So this trio is actually battling for position right now. And Juha is trying to get by Chacon. This is actually a battle for position here for 16th, and he does. Juha goes up to 16th place. So it's going to be questionable how many positions Juha can gain. The other thing that's interesting here, the other Ferrari of Johnny Aces is not here today. My guess is Jonathan had work to do that was getting in the way of racing today. But just one Ferrari in this race. And Juha, no big surprise, dispenses with uh-oh, and here's a problem. It looks like Alan Santo might have had something go wrong. He's moving at a very slow pace. See what happens here. Yeah, he ran off onto the grass, so he just needed to get his office back in order here and then keep going. But not hard to do around here if you overheat your tires and you can understeer off the track. Now he's getting a blue flag to have one of the... oh, there he goes. He lets Nilsson by. So Coxon basically has driven away from second place. He's now, according to the chart, he's 11 seconds in front of Bouchard, who is still being harried by Sabre here, heading down the straightaway. Sabre is just following him to get any kind of slipstream he can, heading into the first turn. So this battle isn't over yet between these two. This is the best battle on the circuit at the moment between Bouchard and David Sabre. New retirements, though. I'm afraid Dante Barbera is out of the race, and so is Gilles Taux. So that's 4 cars officially out of the race, out of the 24 that started. So we're now down to 20 cars. Back now from Jules' car at David Sabre. Yellow flag in this area. Not sure what that is. Oh, it's Mark Whitman. Well, Mark Whitman out of the race, unfortunately. And Jules actually looks like he's sprinting away now from Sabre. Much better exit off that corner than Sabre had. And meanwhile, while they're playing a game of chess here between the two of them, very slowly, Del Piccolo is closing up. Now there's a battle here in front of this group. 2 lapped cars. Hopefully they know that they're there, or we might see a bottleneck again. Here's Jules overtaking Francois Remin, and it looks like David will be able to do the same. Yes, both of them get by without incident. Now their next target is one of the Tyrols, I believe. Yes, Giovanni Centurami already. So we've already lapped everybody up to 10th place in the race, which it's pretty remarkable considering only 24 laps have gone by. So now there are only 9 cars on the lead lap. That's pretty incredible for this, for where we are right now in the race. We're only like 24 laps in. I'm surprised. And it looks as if something might have happened to Sabre. Yeah, Sabre has dropped to 4th. Let's see what happened here. Looks like he might have had some kind of an incident of some kind. It looks okay here. Let's see what happens here. Does he get tangled up with Remin? No. But he's all the way down in 4th there, so something happened to Sabre. We just didn't see it. And he has lost 3rd place as a result to Gabriel Del Piccolo. So GDP moves up to 3rd place. David down to 4th. Nilsson is in 5th, but still further back. There's Nilsson right here. Yeah, so people are pretty spread out here. Nilsson trying to overtake Remin. Okay, so Sabre is starting to close back in again now on GDP. We'll see if he can close in on Gabriel and maybe get that position back. But it's just, I think it was another one of those situations where lap cars, nobody wants to be in the way, but there's really little place for you to go on this track. It's not the widest track in the world. And you can very easily just balk somebody without even trying to do it. Best thing you can do is hold your line and try. There, Pereira does an excellent job of letting Sabre by. But look, now Sabre closing in on Del Piccolo. We'll see if he is able to make an impression. Look, big closure right here. My goodness, he used part of the pit lane entrance to take that corner. Now he's right in the slipstream, right in the toe of Del Piccolo. But look at Del Piccolo. I think he reached down and grabbed some boost there. So I don't think there's going to be any overtaking attempts here. Sabre has a slight look just to say hello. Oh, whoa! He got in the binders really late there. Heading now through the first series of turns to the next straightaway. Sabre would really love to get that third place back. He's looking here and there, trying to find some way to poke his nose down in there, but not going to be up here. I think he's going to have to wait again for his next opportunity, which is at the end of the long straight. Hanging right with him, though. We'll see what happens here. Let's see if he does that same thing he did before. Right down to the inside. No, this time he does not use the pit lane entrance. But look at this. He gets a great exit off the corner. He's right there with Del Piccolo now. Here he comes. Is he going to make the overtake? He's trying. Del Piccolo, I think, turned up the boost there. But here comes Sabre alongside. Can he make it happen? There he goes. Right into second place. Excellent work. Sabre back onto the second step of the podium. And these two are putting on an excellent show for us. Third place, Gabriel Del Piccolo there, and there's Nilsson fourth. Centurami 10th is a lap down. Yeah, he definitely is faster at this stage than Del Piccolo. You can see Del Piccolo fading back into the distance. That's a good question. What happened to Coxon? He's all the way down to 5th. Well, it must have happened a long time ago. Shoot, my apologies. Not sure what happened here, but for some reason Coxon's down in 5th. Maybe he made a pit stop. It's possible. Let's have a look here at his times. No, the sectors are all complete, so it appears that, where was it? Right there. Coxon had an incident on lap 26 of some kind that sent him back to 5th place. And it was not a pit stop because he, or it could have been, he could have been a pit stop because he completed this 52.8 right there. So I'm not sure. Shoot. See, this is what I was afraid of. When you call races alone, it's very easy to miss something. There's the case in point right there. So Coxon all the way down to 5th now. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he probably made his stop. We'll find out later on. If he stops later on, we'll know that that was actually a incident of some kind. But in any case, he's in 5th, and that promotes Anders Nilsson to 4th, Del Piccolo to 3rd, and this is now a battle for the lead between Sabre and Jules, who leads Sabre by about 4 seconds. So Sabre may have dialed back a bit here because he doesn't want to expend too much of the car, but Bouchard, having been crowned the champion already, just keeps on going. Del Piccolo here in a minute is going to deal with one of the Benettons. Actually, no, that Benetton is Potter, I believe. Let's see. Yes, that Benetton is Owen Potter. So it's Nilsson has to advance quite a lot here before he gets to third place Del Piccolo. Same engine on both of these cars. Okay, here's the battle going on right here. Here's Nicholas Kirsten in 7th, being followed by John Team, who's in 8th. And here's another opportunity here. I think John is hoping that Kirsten gets balked by Remen. He does not. Remen moves over and lets him by. So hopefully Remen will see him. And does. Oh, Remen goes onto the grass there, being a bit too courteous. But in any case, this is one of the closer battles in the circuit at the moment between John Team and Nicholas Kirsten, who's in the Honda-powered Williams. Not making much of an impression here, though. John Team, or that's Oscar, has been put a lap down already. Draw me 10th. Oh goodness, Francois Remen has gone off the track here. We're not sure what happened there. Let's take a look at a replay. Looks like it's a single car accident here. We'll see. Oh, he just had a bit too much power on there coming off that corner, that's all. But there you see, the battle for second place seems to be heating up again. Let's see here. Yeah, it's starting to. Sabre is, well, Sabre's in second, closing in on Bouchard. Gotta remember that Coxon had something happen to him. He either stopped or he had an incident. But, Sabre closing quickly here on Bouchard all of a sudden. Maybe he just took a breather for a bit. Now he wants to have another go. But they come through the semicircle bit here. Sabre seems kind of twitchy through that section, but when he nails that turn, he does it really well. Now they're coming down to the end of the straightaway here. I don't think Sabre is going to get it. Well, maybe he will. Hang on. Wow. That there he goes. He just whips out. Takes first place again. Let's take another look at that from his point of view. Man, he had quite a roll going on there. The foreshortening of the shot didn't make it obvious, but look at that. Just whips out, no problem. Takes the inside line away, and Bouchard has no choice but to let him go. So very well done. Sabre now back in the lead. I don't see Del Piccolo closing on this group very much, but yeah, he's not back there. He's got a distance to go before he can catch up. But the Marlboro team is back in the lead once again, but Bouchard looks like he's not gonna let this go. He wants to get back in front again. Heading through this long semicircle once more, and now we're back on the main straight. And we don't see near the closure rate that we saw on board with David Sabre, so it looks as if Jules is resigned to being in second for the moment. Meanwhile, Del Piccolo is in third. Fourth, actually a good battle shaping up here. Anders Nilsson and Coxon is right behind him. This is a good battle shaping up here between these two. We'll see if Coxon can get fourth position. Actually, I want to have a look at something here in the times for Coxon. Let's see. I was trying to determine where his times actually... Yeah, see, here we go. If you look at his times prior to that incident where he went down to 5th place, his times were all 24, 22, 22, 23, 22, and then once he gets back out, he starts turning laps 21, so it appears that might have been a pit stop. We'll find out. Oops, sorry. Don't want to do that. There we go. Oh, look at him. He's right alongside Nilsson now. Looks like he might be ready to... might be ready to pounce here. He's got a great roll on him. Side by side. And is he going to get by? Yes, it appears he will. Excellent. Coxon up to 4th place. Nilsson down to 5th place. Very well executed. So Coxon's car is in good shape. No question about that. Saber's still the leader. Bouchard in 2nd. Del Piccolo 3rd. Coxon 4th now, and Nelson down to 5th. Grant is in 6th. Kirsten 7th. 8th is John Team, and Oscar is 9th. Rocha 10th. Coxon in command here, looking really good for 4th place. And lots of distance between them and Grant Riddall. Question now going to be, can Coxon reel in Gabriel Del Piccolo? You can see him there. He's got a ways to go if he wants to do that, but when pit stops start happening, we'll see how things shake out. Bouchard's still leading. Del Piccolo by 15 seconds. Actually, he's leading, let's see. No, it's a 10-second lead. Sorry. And Jules looking pretty trim overall. Doesn't seem to have any problems right now. Nobody around him. And we are past half distance now, 35 laps. The halfway point was 34. So at some point, I would think we'd start to see more pit stops. I mean, hard to tell. Can't see in front of us here anything for Jules to be concerned about. There's Del Piccolo in 2nd place, finally arriving at the first turn, and he's got Coxon closing in little by little by little here. I think this is the next big battle we're going to see between Coxon and Del Piccolo. Now look at this. Del Piccolo has to lap somebody. It appears to be Bruno Paggiola. And Del Piccolo would like to be let by very quickly here, but it apparently isn't happening just yet. He's trying to go by on the outside of Bruno. Just saw him, and now Bruno is actually bottling. No, he sees him. Okay, good. So Del Piccolo lost a little bit of time there, but not too much. So I think Bruno made the best of that situation. And now going into the semicircle, Coxon is definitely closing in on Del Piccolo. No question about it, that Honda putting out a lot of horsepower. And he's definitely closer than he was just a lap ago, no question about it. Slowing down for the first turn now. And coming into this next series of corners, I mean, this is going to be interesting because you can see if Coxon's car handles better here than Del Piccolo. Hanging right with him the whole way. All right, I think we can expect something is going to happen here on this straight. Would be very surprised if it didn't. Yep, here we go. Very well executed. Coxon is now up to second place, and I believe somebody may have, let's see, was there a pit stop that occurred here? No, it does not appear so. So here's Coxon back to second place, and Bouchard is in first still. So no pit stops at the front yet, at least none that we're aware of. So Coxon now has about a 10-second gap that he has to make up to Bouchard. And he definitely was lapping faster than Del Piccolo because he's just sprinting away now. No question about it. Sabre still running in fourth place. Fifth is Grant Radal. Sixth, Anders Nilsson. Seventh, Nicholas Christian. And eighth, John Team. Ninth, Oscar Team. 10th, Rocha. Centrami 11th. Owen Potter is 12th. Juha is actually up to 13th now, so gaining. But of course, now he has to let Coxon go by. That's going to be a bitter pill to swallow. He knows that he's got a car that can be competitive, but something obviously happened to him early on. And he lets Coxon by, no problem. One of the Zach speeds, driven by Bruno Pragiel, is 14th. 15th is Moises Pereira. 16th, Francois Remin. And 17th, Alan Santo, just out of the race. So he'll be dropping down there. Chacon also out of the race, so is Matt. So not a good day for the Arrows team. We talked about Barbera, he's out of the race. And Gilles Tova also. And still, Bouchard goes around for another lap. One wonders if he is playing one of his not making a pit stop strategies. As you can see, there is Coxon in the background, second car in line from this shot. So it really is going to come down to who comes into the pits and when, and if there's any overlap, that's going to determine who's going to win this race, pretty much. So before the action happens here, maybe we can go to the trivia question. So, Trivia question was, who was the last F1 driver to win the Mexican Grand Prix on the 1986-1992 Hermanos Rodriguez layout? Is it A, Ayrton Senna, B, Riccardo Patrese, or is it C, Nigel Mansell? Time's up. We're going to give everybody a chance to chime in. I believe that Barry Lynn said Mansell was her choice previously. Everybody's too busy talking amongst themselves here. Yes, Barry Lynn said C. Anybody else want to chime in before we reveal the answer? Cesarius also says Mansell. Well, if you guessed Nigel Mansell, you are correct. It is Nigel Mansell. However, if you guessed someone other than Nigel Mansell, wrong. You are wrong. All right, back to the race now. Jules is leading by 5 seconds now over Coxon. So Coxon's reeling him in slowly. Before it was 10 seconds, now it's 5. So he has definitely been consistently reeling him in over the last few laps here. You can see Mansell back there. Sorry, not Mansell. You can see Coxon reeling him in slowly here. So I'm thinking to myself, maybe Bouchard has decided to go with one of these one or no pit stop strategies. If he did, it's looking like he made the wrong choice. Yes, I had to do it. I love the sound effects. Sorry. You guys are lucky I don't have my own podcast where I have a big sound effects board and I can just do whatever I want with it. You're lucky I don't have that. I found out what it would be called, too. It'd be called Not Turning Right with Jason White. So it would just be me talking endlessly about American open-wheel oval racing, much to the chagrin of a lot of F1 fans. In any case, the gap is now down to 4.5 seconds, so it's slowed a little bit. I think Bouchard's trying to respond however he can. He's obviously not going to be, at this rate, leading the race for long if he keeps going. We've still got many laps to go. Oh, and I think it was Potter going off the circuit there, but Saber still in 4th place. Yep, Coxon's getting closer. Down to 4 seconds now. There's naturally going to be a bit of accordion going on there as they go through these turns. It'll look closer at certain points than others. But definitely Coxon is reeling in our leader little by little by little. So we could be in for a really nice battle at the end. This has been a fun race to start with all the tactical passes that happened earlier where people got bottled up behind back markers. That was really, really interesting stuff. And it shows the level of racecraft that you have to compete at this level. This is our marquee series, and probably going to see a lot more of this stuff in the 1991 race. A series of races when we get to 2024. Barry Lynn's encouraging me to do my podcast It would be independent of ISO, I'm sure, because then I could be free to do whatever the heck I wanted. I wouldn't want to. In other words, I have to say, the views and opinions expressed during this podcast are not necessarily those of International Sim Racing Organization. Oh, man. So anyway, you can see now how it is very much closing down. Now we get 3 seconds. So clearly, Coxon is looking to take the lead here. My guess is, we can ask him when the race is over if he comes into the booth. My guess is that he made a pit stop, changed rubber, and that's why he's so much quicker. That's the only way this makes any sense. So it was not an off. It must have been him stopping per plans, but he can confirm or deny that later on if he comes on. Yep, 3-second gap to the leader. Del Piccolo isn't too far back either, but something tells me that he's not going to be able to join this party because once Coxon got around him, he basically just sprinted off into the distance. Saber in 4th. I know he probably would have wanted to be higher. Grant Radal a little further back, and then Nilsson. So these are all spread out too at the back here in the next, once you get past the top 3. Del Piccolo's gap to Coxon's about 13 seconds. So, don't think he's going to be able to join in the fun there. But look at this now. Coxon he is definitely on a charge, and we're going to see a battle for the lead here probably within the next 6 or so laps, I would think. Let's ride on board here with Coxon to see how the Honda's treating him. Seems to be good. That very angry Honda sound. Turn, maintaining very high revs through here. Gap is now leveling out at 3 seconds, so I'm guessing that at this point, Bouchard is responding as best he can, either by turning up the boost or just driving with a bit more grunt. I don't know, but it is now it's 2.4 seconds. So again, the accordion effect. It's funny, some people are talking on the YouTube chat about different types of computer systems. I used to have just plain old Windows 7 for a long time, and finally upgraded to Windows 10. I basically didn't have a choice because my wheel would only work with Windows 10. So and thankfully I haven't experienced any client issues with Steam, but we always love to point out that Bill Gates must not like sim racing because he's often the cause of a lot of discos. And the gap is decreasing. Again, it is down to 2 seconds now. And there are lapped cars in front of us here, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. That boost gauge is not very well placed here in this Williams. It's got rim block. You can't read it. You can read it at the top end, so maybe they figured that's all you need to see. Don't get me started on race car ergonomics. Okay, so now Coxon is right on the back doorstep of Bouchard. This is the battle we've been waiting for. Staying right with him here through this series of turns. My guess is Bouchard's his tires are getting spent. But even if he does get by him here in the next few laps, there's still about 20 laps to go. So the race is not completely over. We still have some time to go. Through the semicircle. You just want to pinch the car right down at the bottom like that. Unlimbers the car off the corner. It's like an inverse oval turn. And look at him pulling at Bouchard. He's going to go for it going into this turn. Most definitely he will. Oops, I'm sorry. There it goes. Oh, wait, but here comes Bouchard back. He's not going to let him do it. Is he going to take the position again? He does on the inside because the next turn was a left-hander. Oh, my goodness. Bouchard defending his position there. Let's look at a replay of that. Here comes Coxon down the inside. We think he has the spot, but look at Bouchard. He's placing his car on the outside knowing the next turn is a left-hander and takes the position back. Very good racing here. Oh, I see what happened there. Coxon just clipped the curb for a minute there. So that was one of Coxon's attempts, and it almost worked. But that was a brilliant bit of defensive driving by Bouchard, using the outside line, knowing that the next turn in succession was a left-hander and that he would be properly placed to defend his spot. So, again, a lot of interesting tactical maneuvers going on in this race. Now, Coxon is obviously not done with this fight. This fight, he's going to come back, try it again. But now he knows that he can expect Bouchard to defend on the outside going into the second turn. So here we go. Here's another chance for Coxon. He's going to whip out again, I believe, at the end of this straight. Yes, he does. And he gets by. He's in the lead. Now, can Bouchard return fire? No, he cannot. Coxon is in the lead, and Bouchard is in second. So Coxon just straight up had more room to use there than he did previously, and Bouchard couldn't repeat what he did in the previous lap. So, new leader, Richard Coxon. Got Rocha in front of them here, but Bouchard's staying right with Coxon here. He doesn't want to let this go. I'm sure his tires are really spent by now, but I don't know. Bouchard can do a lot with that Lotus. I think it's clear to most people that Bouchard and the Lotus in this series have been the perfect match. The two, it's the perfect melding of one car and another. There's his teammate, Rocha, getting out of the way. Now we go through the long semicircle. I think Bouchard's going to attempt a counterattack here. Maybe. They both get off the first turn, or the last turn well. No, Bouchard can't counterattack here. He'd like to, but he might be running the fuel numbers as well at this point. We just don't know. Oh my goodness! Oh! Oh, David Saber off the track! For a brief moment in time, it looks like he was battling with Gabriel Del Piccolo, and that was a huge side impact with the wall. Let's take another look here. They come off the corner. They're battling for position. Saber goes to the inside, back again. Oh my goodness, he loses control, goes into the wall there. Let's go back a little bit. Look at it from his point of view. My goodness. So they come off the corner. Let's take it back to this point. Okay. All right, now. Saber trying to find a way by. Oh my goodness, and probably steered a bit too much steering input. Man. Okay, now Del Piccolo is going for the pits. We see that because he has his wrench icon up there. And there's Saber. Now you gotta wonder how much damage that did to Saber's car, lancing the wall there. He didn't hit it like too hard, but and Del Piccolo going for another lap, so maybe he's not paying any attention to that after all. Saber was lucky not to lose a wing in that incident, but soldiering on in fourth place. Nilsson still in 5th. Grant in 6th. 7th is Kirsten. 8th, John. 9th, Rocha. So Rocha was able to get by Oscar team. So it looks now like the die has been cast. The gap now from Coxon to Bouchard is 3 seconds, 3.8. So it appears that this will be Coxon's run to the finish. Still in sight of him, but it's getting bigger all the time now, up to 4 seconds roughly. Yep. Del Piccolo now just entering the semicircle in 3rd. And Sabre doesn't look like he's lost a lot of time to him. So the question is, did Sabre's car incur any damage in that side impact? Well, he's still with Del Piccolo, so my guess is no. But might have been lucky to get away with that one. Now he's got to try to reel in Del Piccolo again. Remen has been passed by Del Piccolo. Now Sabre will be looking to get by him as quickly as possible. And good advantageous spot here, just slides by on the inside. But he's right with Del Piccolo once again. So despite that wall banging incident, the race does not appear to be over for these two. There are only 7 cars on the lead lap right now, believe it or not. Actually, there may be more. Yeah, Nicholas Kirsten is the last car in the lead lap. And that's the teammate to Coxon. Sabre closing back up again. We got to wonder how his car is right now. I mean, it can't be too badly damaged because he's catching Del Piccolo. Maybe Del Piccolo is driving. Ooh, big wiggle there from Sabre. Perhaps Del Piccolo is driving to some kind of fuel number. But Sabre definitely catching him here. I don't think he's going to attempt to overtake here, but his car looks kind of funny coming down the street, almost like it's crabbing. Interesting. But he's right with Del Piccolo again. So the battle now is for 3rd place between these two. He takes a look, but is there a chance to get by? No! Oh my goodness. Almost gets chopped off there by Del Piccolo. Be careful. With him now and just looking for the right opportunity, I think. I really am starting to think that Del Piccolo is just running the numbers at this point. He could respond if he wanted to. That BMW engine has got awesome amounts of power. Here comes Sabre. Is he going to make the attempt here? Pulls out alongside Del Piccolo. And as they head into the corner, yes, he's in front. Sabre takes over 3rd place from Del Piccolo. Pretty clean overtaking maneuver. Had the speed, was going to do it. So I guess the car is in pretty good trim, which is surprising given the how much she impacted that wall. Bouchard still in 2nd place, and Coxon is actually way out in front of him, several turns in fact. Actually now, here's an interesting situation. It looks like Sabre might have a shot here of getting 2nd if he can catch up to, or is that Rocha? No, that's Rocha, okay. So I was looking at Rocha's car that is not Bouchard's Lotus. You can tell by the yellow helmet. Yeah, it is Rocha. So we're coming up on the closing stages of the race here. It is, we're starting lap 55 out of 68, so before long we'll be putting this Mexican Grand Prix into the record books, but Coxon leading, Jules Bouchard second, Sabre, who you're riding with, is in third, Del Piccolo 2 seconds and a half maybe back, is fourth, Anders Nilsson fifth, Grant Riddall is sixth. Those are the top 6 that will be getting points if the race ended now. 7th is Nicholas Kirsten. 8th, John Team. 9th, Luciano Rocha. And rounding out the top 10 is Oscar Team. Juhas managed to climb his way back to 12th place, but certainly doesn't look like he's going to be scoring points today, unfortunately. Rocha makes room for Sabre. Oh no, Sabre's, oh no! Sabres went off the track and hit the tire barrier. I think it was because of an awkward impact with the curb on the right-hand side. Oh my goodness, what a disaster for Sabre. He's still going. It doesn't look like he didn't lose wheels. He lost his front wing, obviously, but he's going to try to get that thing back to the pits. Oh my goodness, he's going to lose. He's 4th place right now, but he's not going to be able to maintain it. Eventually, you're going to have Nilsson coming up, and he's going to take the position away. If not now, then certainly when he goes to the pits for a wing. Yeah, here comes Nilsson right now. This is a disaster for Sabre. He was doing so good. He had just gotten by Del Piccolo. Oh, my goodness. And now he's running into the problem. He has no front downforce. The car doesn't want to turn. Now he's in 5th. That was Nilsson overtaking him. Oh, this is really a disaster for Sabre. Now he's got to go to the pits and get that repaired, and it's not going to happen in a second. It's something that's going to take some time, and he's going to be lucky to finish in the points now. Well, he is now 6th, but I really seriously doubt. He's got 30 seconds on 7th place Kirsten. So maybe he can get out prior to Kirsten's arrivals. It's 19, 18, 17, 16. Kirsten is closing. So it appears, yeah, here comes Nicholas Kirsten off the final turn, and Nicholas will be updated to 6th place now. So both Williams in the points now after Sabre puts the car into the barrier. That was really unfortunate. That promotes Grant Riddall to 5th place. Nilsson is now 4th, and Del Piccolo is back to 3rd again. But I don't think any of these guys are in competition with each other, not really. So it's going to be pretty quiet into the race for this group. Sabre's still sitting in the pits, probably just steaming, fuming, upset. We've all been there, especially at this stage of the race. John Team is probably going to pick up 7th place in a second here. So didn't hear much from the Ligier team this time around, but if one more retirement happens and we really, we get surprised by engines blowing up at the end, team may be placed really well to pick up a pointer here, maybe more. Yep, Sabre's still in the pits. Team coming off the final turn, so he's going to advance into 7th place. That car looks really loose. Yep, Team is now 7th. And it's going to be a long way for Rocha to catch up, but eventually, no, okay, Sabre is now exiting the pits. All the way down in 8th place. Not the way he wanted to finish this Mexican Grand Prix. Soldiering on for his sponsor and for the McLaren team. So yeah, Nicholas Kirsten now into points. If I'm not mistaken, it could be the first points that he's going to score if he can get it to the end in this series. I could be wrong. And he's relatively new to ISO racing, so my guess is this probably is his best finish to date, at least in this series. I think he also drives the 84 World Endurance Championship. Grant coming up on Owen Potter here. Going through the semicircle. This is a bit of an unfortunate place to catch a back marker, but Grant backs off a little bit, and I'm sure he'll get Potter now in the straight. So 10 laps to go now, or 11, I guess, in this Mexican Grand Prix. Saber trying to, he's actually lost another spot now. He's down to 9th. Lost it to Rocha. Saber runs off the track again. I think he's just upset at this point. Maybe, oh, that was Yuha taking him for 9th. So maybe there's something, okay, I think something's wrong with Saber's car. Whatever happened with that barrier, he's not, the car is just not driving the same as it was before. It's something they couldn't fix, and he's actually pulling off the track now. Looks like he's making room there for somebody, but he's moving at a very, very slow pace. I'd be surprised if he doesn't just pull it into the pits and retire. But in fact, here comes Grant Riddall. It's not a race for position, but unfortunately, yeah, David's bringing it into the pits, so looks like it's going to be done for the day for the McLaren team. Too bad, because Ray Riddall had such an excellent qualifying performance, and David was looking very good versus other people. Here he comes in again. This is probably going to be the end of the day for him. Or maybe he had some additional damage as he got out. I don't know, but this is just costing him dearly at this point. Giovanni Santarami moves up to 10th place now. And Yuha, that's interesting. Yuha's 12th, so actually that might have been him unlapping himself. Yeah, he was unlapping himself from Saber at that point. Potter 13th, 14th Paggiola, 15th Pereira, 16th is Remen, and out of the race Santos. So there's 14 cars still running, it appears. Remen trying to make room here for a bunch of people trying to get by, and does so. So Coxon now looking at 9 laps to go in this race, and car looking in really good trim. I mean, it's funny, we'd be looking at a completely different championship if Coxon had selected this car originally at the start, I'm thinking. Because if you remember, Coxon was driving the Benetton through most of the season, and then when one of the seats became available, went for this, I'm not sure, I think it was Dave Miller actually who was in the in this car, and the seat became available, so Coxon went for it, and suddenly he's winning races. I mean, his form instantly improved. He was not happy with the Benetton, so if Coxon had chosen this car at the start of the year instead of moving to it in the middle of the year, we might be looking at a very, very different championship situation right now. Because as the Drivers' Championship stands, Coxon is 3rd in line there, just behind Ray Riddall. Then you have Yuha Boss and David Saber. Bouchard obviously has clinched the championship, but I would wager that Coxon would be right up there with him if he had started the year with the Williams. That's pure speculation. But he looks in excellent form right now. He's just very smooth, no problems. "60 laps complete." He's on lap 61. And he'll soon be starting lap 62. So lap 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, and 68 to go. Bouchard still running in good trim. Piccolo 3rd, Nilsson 4th. Oh, Grant Riddall, it appears, is closing on Nilsson, although we can't see him here. There he is. Just briefly you saw him. So another BMW battle might be brewing here. No, actually, that's a back marker we're seeing there, so the distance is farther than I thought. Yeah, 9 seconds. Can he make that up in the time left? Probably not, but that's where things stand right now with Grant Riddall versus Anders Nilsson. Yeah, it's quite a distance. I doubt he's going to be able to pick that up. So as a quick reminder to everybody, the last race of this series is going to be run on Sunday, December 10th. The Foster's Australian Grand Prix on the Adelaide circuit. In real life, Mansell lost the championship in that race when his tire let go on the Brabham Straight. Was lucky to bring the car to a safe halt. But that's the race that's going to cap off this series. Sunday, December 10th, race 16 of 16. It'll start at 2000 CET. That's the actual green light. We will be on the air at 1945 CET. So a good podium finish for Del Piccolo on the plate here. And not that he needs the points, but another good finish for Bouchard. But Coxon definitely, with this Williams as the class of the field right now, I don't think anybody would dispute that. 15-second lead, 15 and a half. Looking very good. Doesn't appear bothered at all. Coxon rarely makes mistakes in a racing car. He reminds me, as a driver, a lot like Bobby Rahal in a way, because Rahal rarely made mistakes. And Coxon is a guy who's very focused, very determined, and you rarely see him do anything in the way of an error on the track. At least I can't recall many situations, if any. So 5 laps to go now. So a lot of interesting stuff went on early on, and this has kind of calmed down to a kind of an anticlimactic finish. But definitely, like I was saying earlier, it makes one wonder about what might have happened if Coxon had been in this car at the start of the year. Here's Bouchard in second, just behind Nicholas Kirsten, who is now a lap down. So that means that 5 cars are on the leader lap. That's all. Everybody else is a lap down or more. Such is the pace of Coxon. Heading into the upper section of the track now, where the serpentine bit begins. This is the place where the Lotus really shines on this track because of the short wheelbase, compact design, very good at turning direction quickly. Something that, frankly, the Brabham is not good at doing, but then again, it is in third place in the hands of GDP. Let's see, is Nilsson closing it all? Not really, no. Del Piccolo is in a very, very solid third place. And providing he can bring the car to the line, no problem, should be all right. There's Bouchard overtaking Centorami, who is in 10th place. Centorami didn't really advance nearly as much as I thought he would. I would have expected him to be like 7th or something by the end of the race. But in any case, pretty consistent performance from him in the race. So after this, we have next week the World Endurance Championship 1984, and we already have seen on the YouTube chat that Miller says he's going to be having a camera in his car. That's great news, especially that it's Miller doing this, because Miller drives one of the best cars in the series, so you're assured a view of what's going on up front as long as Miller is in the race. So he's an ideal person to have the camera in the car. So we'll definitely be watching that. Well, I won't be. I'll be driving. But those of you at home who want to see that can at least watch it from his point of view. Here's Owen Potter making room for Bouchard as he enters the last turn. Now almost 20 seconds behind Coxon, so he's conceded the win at this point to Coxon. So the only thing really that could cause something to go wrong here would be if Coxon had an engine failure or something happened, but we'll see what happens here. There's still a big question mark, I think, over a lot of these BMW engine cars. Not a lot of them, sorry. The ones that I'd be interested in would be Grant, Del Piccolo, and Nilsson. All three of those are in BMW-powered cars. So is Owen Potter, but he's not at the front, so they wouldn't really have an impact on the running order. So we have to keep a close eye on those cars as the laps wind down here. Now on lap 66 out of 68, so before long, we'll be on the final lap of the race. It looks like Coxon's taking the car off the boil. Yeah, the time is going down now. It's down to 17.6. So Coxon is soft pedaling it, trying to get the car to the finish. Doesn't want the Honda engine to suddenly fail on him. And as I say that, he makes a liar out of me because he increased the gap to 20 seconds again. Maybe it's a function of Bouchard backing off. Who knows? 20-second gap now. Now we're on the penultimate lap of the race. Bouchard enters the straight as well. Del Piccolo all by himself. Most of these cars are all by themselves. Well, Grant, actually, this is the closest battle on the circuit. There's Grant closing in on Nilsson, but I doubt there's enough time for him to do anything with that unless something catastrophic happens. You can see him now, but my guess is Grant is going to be resigned to collect fifth. To hear him drop down a gear there as he came off the corner. Oh, a little bit of miscommunication there for Nilsson. He went to the right, and Rocha actually went to the right as well, thinking he would pass on the left. Yeah, Grant's trying, but I don't think he's going to get there. And here comes Coxon off the final corner, and this is to start the last lap of the race, lap 68. Another great performance by Coxon and the Williams team. This package, like I said before, is not for everybody. It requires a great deal of control and a great deal of subtlety of driving because of how violent the power is from that Honda engine. It just cracks on. It's like there's no subtlety about it at all. There's no smooth power band. And some drivers would find that impossible to deal with. But Coxon obviously has been able to find the sweet spot with this car and make it work well. And that's why he's won a series of races in the end of the championship here, and that's why he's probably going to win today. Last time through the Serpentine section for Richard Coxon. The championship winner, Jules Bouchard, is 30 seconds back. So, just a few more corners to go here, and Richard can unbuckle and take solace in the fact that he may not have the points to win the championship, but he is certainly the best driver and car combination on the track at the moment. Coming through the final turn now, onto the main straight. And he's going to receive the congratulations of his crew. There it is. Richard Coxon wins the Mexican Grand Prix for Williams Honda. Excellent drive. Second place. Where is Jules? Jules is in the pits. What happened? Has he run out of fuel? Oh my goodness. Jules Bouchard, it appears, or was it an engine letting go? Let's run it back here and see what happened. It could have been that he just ran one. His fuel was just not enough to get him to the end. He pushed too hard early on, but let's see what happens here. We're going to run it back a bit and see what happened. We're going to look at the other standings in a moment. But this is major, major disappointment here. The engine sounds fine. He must have run out of fuel. Yes, fuel. It was definitely fuel. Bouchard loses second place, runs out of fuel. Incredible. So Del Piccolo will finish in second place. There he is crossing the line just now. Third, Anders Nilsson. Fourth, Grant Riddall as they come to the first turn and stop. Fifth and already in the garage is Jules. So Jules salvages a top 5 finish there. Sixth, Nicholas Kirsten, so 1 point for him. John Tiemann, 7th. Luciano Rocha, still rolling on the track, is 8th. 9th for Oscar Team, he's stopped. 10th for Giovanni Santarami, so Giovanni finishes where he started. 11th, Juha Boss. 12th, Owen Potter. 13th, Bruno Paggiola. 14th, Moises Pereira as he motors into the pit lane. 15th for Francois Remen. 16th, David Saber, who had a very unfortunate end to his race. 17th, Alan Santo. 18th, Bruno Chacon. 19th, Matthew Sibignani. 20th, Dante Barbera. 21st, Gilles Tau. 22nd, Mark Whitman. 23rd, Ray Riddall. 24th, Mikael Drexler. And I believe that's all the cars that were running. It is. So that was the Mexican Grand Prix. A great drive by Richard Coxon. Fantastic result. So we're going to wait a minute for anybody to jump in the green room if they want to be interviewed. But a really exciting race at the start there. It got a bit pedestrian towards the end, but another excellent performance by Coxon. And don't forget, we've got one more race to go. It's going to be on the 10th of December. The Foster's Australian Grand Prix. That's going to be around 16 of 16, Sunday, December 10th. And we look forward to bringing that to you as the final race of this great series. And who knows, maybe Coxon will win another one. His form looks really hard to beat right now. So, no one's going into the green room, so we're going to just cap off the broadcast here, I believe. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and thanks also to Juha for being the steward of the race and making sure everything goes as clean as it can. Appreciate you watching, and we'll see you on December 10th for the finale of this series. This is Jason White saying so long from Mexico City. Take care and be safe.